Wow. What a game. The Boston Celtics defeat the Charlotte Hornets 140-129 in an overtime thriller. We got so much to talk about in this game.
I'm so pumped.
The
It lives
Boston
up to all
Celtics
expectations.
advance to 2-2. The Charlotte Hornets fall to 3-1. Guys, how are we feeling? We're waiting for Ian here.
I'm feeling good. I think I'm feeling even better about when we get to these over-under bets. But overall, the Celtics just ultimately dominate in the overtime, something, exactly what the Celtics needed to do is execute in a moment like that. And I'll tell you right now, out of these two games, I didn't expect a performance, from this, more from this game, more from, I expected more from the game before that. It turns out we actually got more out of this game than we did last night, even though we did win. But this one feels better. The Charlotte Hornets, with all due respect to the young Houston Rockets who had a hell of a game last night, this Hornets team has something special here. Maybe they're not contenders in the Eastern Conference, but they're definitely competitors in the Eastern Conference. And, their young core with Bridges and LaMelo, and obviously you have Plumlee and Hayward who are fantastic tonight for them. This win just feels awesome.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this might – well, obviously it's the win of the season thus far. It's only the second win. But I think it totally trumps what happened last night. Last night, I did have a couple of questions coming in tonight was, what was last night real, or were we just facing a bad Rockets team? Were we on a good night? Did, we catch them on a bad night? I had a lot of questions in that regard, and we came in tonight, and even if we would have lost that game in overtime or even at the end of regulation there, I still would have felt good about where this team is heading for the simple fact that they overcame adversity tonight, especially in the fourth quarter and overtime to win that game, and that's just something that has to be amazing moving forward because we saw that at MSG. Obviously the next two games didn't see it at all, but then tonight, amazing job from the Celtics.
I mean, the Boston Celtics just did something that they didn't do all last year, and that was they didn't fold. They bended, but they didn't fold. And I think all that credit goes to Ime Udoka. And, I really do. Obviously, some credit goes to the players 100%, right? Don't get me wrong. But I think Udoka did such a good job at keeping these guys calm, calling timeouts when they needed it. I think a hack of Plumlee to let the Celtics kind of get that slow the pace down a little bit and get that run really going was huge. I mean, oh, my God, totally.
All right, first of all, I got to get this out. Let's go! Yes! Finally! God, that was amazing. I'm sorry for all the people wearing.
I'm loving this energy.
Sorry for all the people wearing headphones for that, but finally, bro, that's what I've been trying. That's what we've been hyping up the Celtics team to do. Yes, they still had their normal problems. I mean, the turnovers are a lot less. I mean, they're one more than yesterday. There was 12. That doesn't matter.
Hey, I'll take it.
Oh,
2 games under 15. 2 games under 15.
And you know what?
I'll take it.
In an overtime, in a very fast-paced overtime game, 12 turnovers is a number you'll live with.
I don't even care, man. That was such a great game. Jason Tatum looked like the MVP that we've been hyping him up to be. Yep. Jaylen Brown looked amazing. Dennis Schroeder finally hit a shot when it came to overtime.
Yeah.
Robert Williams, man, he got every single rebound. I feel like every single time there was a shot.
16 rebounds on the night.
That's insane.
Yep,
that was nuts. Marcus, I mean, he can barely shoot, but God, his defense was so important.
He had 6 offensive rebounds and 10 defensive rebounds.
So I think this is exactly what we expected out of the Celtics, right? Now, mind you, Richardson had a bad game. By no means did Josh Richardson play well. Only took 2 shots, didn't score. He had a plus, which you really don't like to see, right? However,
talk about my boy. Bring him up right now. The boy off the bench tonight.
Yeah,
who was he?
Jabari Parker, 13 points off the
Your boy.
Glad he's back.
But you know what's different about this win is just you saw Tatum and Brown just take over, and that's kind of what we've been looking for. It's what we've been stressing those last 3 games. It was the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum show.
Can I please say something, Rob? This will make you so happy. This will make you incredibly happy. Jason Tatum had 41 points.
Yeah.
And 8 assists. In 8 assists. So not only did Jason Tatum have a great game scoring, but he nearly notched a triple-double, remind you, 7 rebounds to go along with that. 8 assists. That is exactly something that we've stressed. Not even all season, even last season. A big part of Jason Tatum's game is not his scoring. The big problem about his game has been his distribution of the basketball. And tonight, perfect execution down the stretch. 8 assists for Jason Tatum. That's what impressed me about this 41-point performance tonight.
And a huge difference with this game, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown than the other games, is they were on at the exact same time tonight. And when they're on at the exact same time, it's very hard to beat the Celtics team, or should be very hard to beat the Celtics team.
Can we talk about
their 2-star wings? Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Can we talk about that? I'm sorry. I just saw it and it jumped out to me and it made me happy. The Boston Celtics had 33 assists on the night.
That is
my God.
That's going up to the top echelon.
Yes. And you know what's great about that? We had 33 assists. Jaylen Brown had 30. Jason Tatum had 41. And we had 33 assists. That is what Ime Udoka has been preaching. And they went out and they did it. I mean, you got to be happy after this one as a Celtics.
And we out-rebounded them by 1, which is pretty good because the Charlotte Hornets are a great rebounding, athletic, versatile team. So even rebounding by 1 or rebounding them by 100, any over rebounds for them is huge for the Celtics.
I do feel like we need to have a moment of silence for Miles Bridges. He had a great game tonight, but Jaylen Brown just put that man in a coffin. I feel like we need to have a moment of silence for.
That could be a Dunk of the Year nomination.
That was the most ferocious dunk maybe ever seen out of Jaylen Brown.
How do you guys think that knee looks? It looks pretty good, right?
I mean, we were concerned about it. It looked pretty good to me. Oh my God!
All right, so let's go over real quick before we really get into it. And mind you, if you guys are watching this, drop your questions. We'd love to see what you guys have to say. But let's get to the over under.
Yes.
I'm so excited. It was a good night for the over under. So to start things off, the over under on Dennis Schroeder points tonight was 14. Justin said over. Yeah, 23. Mm-hmm. Justin said over. Ian said over, and I think Seamus, you said over too, right?
Yeah, Ian, me, and Seamus said over, and you said
I said under. He hit over. Next one was Celtics lead at half. They did indeed lead at the half.
Oh my God, that was so close.
Wait, me and you got it right.
You and Rob got it.
Okay, yeah. And then last one was Marcus Smart, 6 assists, and he had 5.
Let's go.
That's what I said. I said he was gonna have 5. I told you that in the beginning.
So Justin goes 3-0, right? Seamus goes 2-1, and Ian goes 2-1, and I go 1-2.
Comeback week, not comeback.
Seamus, this was your comeback.
Yeah, it was a big one.
A solid week for Seamus. Solid week, or solid game, I should say.
But you know what? It's in NFL terms. It's like weeks with betting.
5 assists. That's exactly where if we replay the pregame show, that's exactly kind of where we thought he would be, between the 4 to 5, maybe 6, even maybe push 7 assists. So, right in that range. So we weren't all 4 of us, even though only 2 of us got that right. I think only three out of the 4 of us got that right. I think all 4 of us were kind of right in that range. Oh, that's clutch. Big performance by Jason here.
But something I also I want to bring up is Grant Williams again. Now, he had another good night, 9 points, right? And something that stood out to me is, he had 9 points, which isn't the best, but he was coming off the bench, right? 9 points, and his 3 wasn't falling, right? 1 for 4 from 3, all open looks. You figure, he makes another one, he's got 12. So, he had another great night. I mean, if Grant's given us 9 points off the bench a night.
Yeah. And we win.
And you win. You can't be happier than Grant.
Dude, Grant was perfectly utilized in a different role tonight. They had him stepping out for 3 a couple times tonight, and obviously he was 1 for 4, but he was so good in the dunker spot, and he had a couple of good rolls to the rim where they found him as well. And just being that presence on offense, especially with Al Horford out of the lineup tonight, he did put some pressure on that Hornets defense. And I can't say enough about Grant Williams on the defensive end of the ball. I know he's not the biggest, and some guys blow right past him, but he's just so physical and he gives so much effort. And his positioning this year compared to last season has improved vastly, and this is why we're seeing him play consistent minutes and making an impact now, because over the offseason, he actually went into the lab and worked on his game, and we're seeing the results right now. It's only 4 games. He could fall off the next 78 still, but Grant Williams thus far, he looks like a legitimate role player that we're going to use for the majority of the season.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing I saw out of Grant Williams tonight was, I think it was Nick Richards was down in the post after a rebound, and Grant just blocked his shot just so nonchalantly. That was the funniest thing that I saw the entire night. But yeah, I just made a whole video on Grant before the game started, and he proved me right tonight.
I'm hyped about Grant. He got me. Let's see this real quick. He got me a good night tonight in fantasy. I swear. He got me 23 fantasy points tonight.
You have Grant Williams on your fantasy team?
I picked him up. I think the night before last night. I swear to God. I was like, dude, this dude having a season, bro. Hey, he picked me up 23 fantasy points. So I'm all for it. Jaylen Brown, 61. Robert Williams picked me up 45. And then obviously I had to root for my boy Ish Smith on the other end because he gave me 20. He always torches the Celtics, win or loss.
Bro,
it could have been
so
worse.
Annoying.
You had to go.
It could have been.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm hyped.
I mean,
that was a big win.
I'm just so happy because when was the last? I can't remember the last time we had a win that felt. It was probably the Spurs comeback win, right? You guys when Tatum dropped 60. That was probably the last time we felt like this.
That game. We were 4-10 to end the season. So
Robert Williams has a quote. It says Robert Williams gives shout outs to Dennis Schroeder and Marcus Smart for their defensive impact down the stretch. He says, and I quote, "Them guys was dogs out there."
And you know what?
And that was not.
I wanna. Actually, why?
Because you're cutting in and out bad.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to bring up Marcus Smart actually because he shot 1 for 9 from 3, right? And he played a fantastic defensive game. I mean, the man is a key reason why we won. The steal to stop that last possession opportunity for the Hornets. He played fantastic on the defensive side of the ball, right? But this season, Marcus Smart no longer has to score. He has absolutely zero responsibility on the offensive end other than to play make, right? And even still, I think Schroeder has shown he's more, he might want to think maybe flipping them in the starting lineup, throwing Smart to the bench and starting Schroeder because he's been really good with the ball. He's been he had 8 assists tonight. He's averaging I think almost 7 on the season. So, I'd like to see Smart kind of relax on offense a little bit. You don't have to take 9 threes, Marcus. Just do your thing on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. I think Marcus Smart was 5 of 11 at MSG on opening night, and since then, I believe the number was, it was either 1 of 11 after that in the next 2 games, and tonight he shot 1 of 9. Marcus Smart, this is something that we talked about over the offseason. Marcus Smart needs to be more of a facilitator on offense and just a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, which obviously if you're a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, you're probably not taking 9 threes a game unless you're someone like Joe Harris. And Marcus Smart, the off the dribble threes, that is to me the main concern within his game right now.
Yeah.
There are a couple of possessions where you look at Smart and go, okay, we had 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Our offense is waning a little bit right now. Why did you need to take that shot in that situation, in that time frame? And that's the main concern with Marcus Smart's game. But other than that, he's been a tremendous facilitator this year. And obviously defensively, he's always clutch on that end, especially tonight at the end of the game, stripping LaMelo Ball to pretty much force overtime. That was huge. Marcus Smart, still a huge, big-time player, but his offensive game still needs a little bit of tweaking.
Do you think we could send him to the bench, or are we past that point with Smart? Do you think he'd kind of take that a personal,
I mean,
Ime said that.
Go ahead, Ian.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I was just gonna say because Ime said that he was gonna be the starting point guard, and I don't know how Marcus is gonna feel about that if Ime asks him to go to the bench again. But I
Especially
mean,
after an
you never know.
extension.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I get that, and I would love for Mark. I love Marcus Smart. Don't get me wrong, one of my favorite players on the team. But his original role was a bench guy. You got to realize that, and it does suck that I mean, it's a good problem to have, mind you. When you have Dennis Schroeder coming off your bench, it's a great problem to have. But I think through the first 4 games, it's something I've noticed that Schroeder has played very, very well. I mean, he scored 23 points tonight. Like that was a quiet 23, and that is what's so great about this team is that this is what we've been saying is that. Go for it. Take it.
No. I thought you were going to be done, so I was going to bring up the next thing, but go ahead.
All right, so real quick, I'll finish up real quick. The great thing about this team is that Kemba Walker never got you 23 and had the defensive impact that Dennis Schroeder had tonight. 23, 6, and 8. Schroeder really showing his value. Really is what's going to take the Celtics to the next level.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking about effort, I want to bring up the Celtics were in the hole. They were down bad in that fourth quarter. They were down by, I believe, as much as 11 or 12 points in that fourth quarter against the Charlotte Hornets, who were undefeated on their home court. Everything kind of was falling in their favor in that fourth quarter. Their shots were hitting. I mean, they were hitting some unbelievable shots, double team shots that I can't even fathom. But talk to me about that fourth quarter, guys, because the Celtics in the third quarter had their typical struggles, fell behind a little bit, and then the start of the fourth quarter, all the momentum shifted to the Hornets. And then obviously, like Rob said, I think Ime Udoka called an early fourth quarter timeout, really calmed these guys down, and the Celtics kind of took it from there.
Definition of bend, don't break. We haven't seen that. We saw the Celtics break way too many times last season. And I think partially, you got to think maybe that was some of Brad Stevens not being able to rally the troops like Ime did. And I got to give credit to Ime Udoka. 4 games in, I was questioning him during the Raptors game. But, I mean, that is just definition, bend, don't break. Keep your foot on the gas pedal, and put your head down and win the basketball game.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, something we got to look at here is, who was out tonight? Al Horford was out tonight. Who came off the bench out of nowhere and stepped up? Jabari Parker. Last night, Celtics were missing a big scoring piece in Jaylen Brown, even add Romeo Langford, who came up clutch last night. Grant Williams with 18 points. The difference between the Celtics this year and last year, they're actually having players step up and play these big roles, and they're performing well. I know, again, 4 games into the season, Seamus said, there's still 78 other games left. The Celtics could easily fumble here in the next 78 games. Hopefully that's not the case. But as of right now, I like the players stepping up.
Yeah, and from my perspective, the biggest thing in the fourth quarter that changed this entire game around was the Celtics' ability to be aggressive on the offensive end of the floor and even create turnovers on the defensive end. The Celtics, there was a stretch there in the fourth quarter where they went behind by 10, and the whole reason was for the sheer fact they were settling for shots. And after they stopped settling for shots and going to the rim and creating other opportunities for others, and at the forefront of that was Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, those guys were spectacular in getting the offense aggressive and coming back in the game entirely, because without that, I think we could have seen a 15-point Celtics loss there in the end. We're talking about a complete collapse in the fourth quarter, but instead they were super ultra aggressive in the fourth. They didn't turn their backs on the potential win, and they pulled this game out, something we did not see at all last season. And we're 4 games in, and we're seeing this kind of effort already. We did not see that once last season, even when we were 8-3. So this is a huge sign for the team moving forward, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, I mean, last season it felt like every single game we were trying to come back from behind, and we just waited till the last minute every single game to try to make a comeback. And it was kind of getting annoying because, how many times are you going to try the same thing over and over again and it doesn't work? But, I mean, like you said, Rob, shout out to Udoka because his defense tonight and his plan to hack Mason Plumlee was probably the smartest thing that, they've done in a while, because I mean, he could have easily made all of those shots, but at the same time, we bet on the fact that he's shooting 22% from the free throw line, and it ended up working in our favor.
So something new we have going on here, right? It's the post-game show, is the play of the game. You pick one play, and I want you guys to guess it because I think it could be fun. Obviously I'm going to show it, but before I do, what would you guys say your play of the game is?
There's multiple here, but I'll let Ian go first.
Brown's dunk on Bridges. That has to be the play of the game. That was the finisher, because they had the lead in overtime, but that was the one that ended it. That was the one that ended it.
I'll say the Robert Williams pick and roll with Jason Tatum, where he went up and just skied and put the Celtics up 1 with, I believe, 2 minutes left. That was when you really knew, all right, the Celtics might be able to pull this game out, and that was a huge play. So I'll go with that as play of the game.
I want to say one of the Marcus Smart steals at the end of the game off the inbounds pass. I mean, Gordon Hayward should know it best. Gordon Hayward spent 3 years with Marcus Smart, and he made that pass, and ultimately that lost them the game. So I'm going to say a Marcus Smart defensive play later on.
All right, well, let's take a look.
Brown.
Ian takes the point.
Take that, he says. Take that.
On his head.
And something I want to point out, if you look at this, I want to run it back real quick. Look how well the Celtics were in transition. If I can figure out how to rewind this, there we go. Look how well the Celtics were. You're not going to see it, but look at that. 2-on. I mean, that's textbook. You got the Celtics, you get them out and running. You get Jaylen Brown, and what did Scout say? Jaylen Brown, how do you do, Miles Bridges?
He took the words right out of the Hornets announcer's mouth.
How do you do? I mean, look. I mean, it's really, you got Rob Will running the floor, Jaylen Brown running the floor. I mean, that is textbook what you want. So that is the Celtics play of the game for the night. Hopefully, you guys like that. Something new. I thought we should maybe get into doing. I mean, what's not to love? Great play. I mean,
that was a top 100 play this season. Definitely, we'll see that on.
They'll probably still make it like 70.
You know what's funny? Like Bridges gets a taste of his own medicine. Like Bridges does it. Do you know how many people Bridges? Just like when we saw Tatum dunk on Wendell Carter Jr. in the preseason, like Wendell Carter Jr. does the same thing too. He posterizes people too. So that was fun to see. How athletic is Jaylen Brown, by the way? Like Rob said, that knee must be feeling pretty damn good tonight.
Yeah, that knee must be doing. He must that knee could be feeling pretty good right now.
Oh man.
And I do want to I do have some highlights here. I want to see. I want to go over them. I think this is something I'm not gonna lie. I guess kind of figure out how to do. So I want to do it this season, because I think it could be something good in the post game show to do is to go over almost like some film. Really, so
this is right down Seamus's alley here. We need to get Seamus. You need to make up a graphic. I know you're pretty quick at it. You need to make up those graphics like you do, and you gotta really show us.
Tatum. Shot clock is down to 4.
All right, so I want to skip to the fourth quarter here.
Hey, that's the first play of the game, by the way. That was one of the better plays of the game as well. A lot of ball movement. Found an open Schroeder for 3. Started my over-under with a big bang right to start off at the Celtics first. 8 of 10 points. I'm very hip with that, baby. That's right.
Oh no, I meant to put the volume down.
Free advertisement.
So we're gonna start here. This is to start the third quarter, right? Boston is currently up by 4, so we're gonna watch it. We're gonna kind of see how it goes here. So the Celtics, they're kind of letting them get back here, as the Hornets now are up by 8 after this 3. They're up by 11 at this point, right?
How the hell did McDaniels make threes? He's like one of the worst 3-point shooters.
So Brown, and look at that, Brown in transition, just a beautiful Euro step. I mean, you gotta love that.
Jaylen Brown is one of the best, and I'm not just saying this to myself. He's one of the best transition players in the game of basketball right now. Oh boy! When that play happened, guys, I just thought of the New York game, and I said, "Please just lay it up."
And then
I know
Williams.
That was a play Seamus thought.
And how about LaMelo Ball though? I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, really. I mean, he was great tonight.
LaMelo Ball, Jalen Green,
and this player
Green
right
last night.
Now, it's a shame because I would have loved to see us win off that play. This possession here, I would have loved to see us get a bucket, Tatum or Brown. It's a shame how this last play of the game went. You can kind of tell we haven't been able to go over in practice.
Celtics had a timeout left too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that was so weird.
And this is kind of where we knew we were going to take away with it. Tatum, great drive, and Robert Williams.
Oh,
huge.
Did he give it to Plumlee at the end of that? Was he screaming at Plumlee?
probably.
I mean,
Now, something that I noticed about this all night long, I thought the Celtics should have been playing up more on LaMelo Ball. I thought they were playing too shallow on LaMelo Ball. I mean, they did the same thing last night with Jalen Green. I think the biggest thing to take away, if you're taking away some negatives here of this little road trip, even though we went 2-0, is defending that 3-point, defending that perimeter is going to be better.
This is exactly what I'm going to rewind a little bit, right? It was the fast break play. So this is exactly what you want to see the Celtics do. So first of all, great look by Schroeder, showing the court vision. Exactly. Great skip pass, knockdown 3, right? You got the bench up, Celtics up 3, and right here, ready? He drives, he misses, and look at everyone sprints. Brown hustles, Tatum hustles.
That's something
Tatum
we didn't
dumps it
see
down.
last year.
Exactly. And how do you do in the Celtics? I mean, a much, much needed win for the Boston Celtics. I mean, you got to love that.
That last play was particularly special. I mean, the Hornets had it was a 2v1, and then all of a sudden it became a 3v1 for the Celtics. Like that typically doesn't happen in transition like that. It's a quick turnaround, and that was a huge play in that moment of the game.
I just want to we mentioned this earlier. 12 turnovers might not be the best game, but for the Celtics, obviously that's fantastic. Each game has gotten lower and lower. But against the Hornets especially, our number one stress in the pregame show and even the postgame show last night was, play with pace, kind of relax, and you don't want to turn the ball over to the Charlotte Hornets team. And the Celtics the Hornets out turnovered them. They had 14 to Boston's 12, and Boston did really a lot right tonight.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you were talking about LaMelo Ball. This kid might be actually the real deal because the way I don't know if you're going to show it, Rob, but you got to show that pass he threw from the other end of the court.
Oh, to Hayward down
that
court.
pass was insane. And I'm giving LaMelo credit. He had a really good night. And, I mean, I feel like and a lot of teams, and I even noticed, I don't know if you remember opening night against the Pacers when they made that big comeback. They were doing the same thing the Celtics were doing, where they were just letting him shoot from 3 and hoping he misses. And it's not working very well.
Do you guys think LaMelo Ball is an all-star this year?
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah,
I think
someone asked me that. Someone asked me that in my stream, and I said, I mean, unless another guard outplays him, I don't see how he's not an all-star this year.
I think it depends on the Hornets seeding. If the Hornets fall into the playoffs, you got to give it to them. You really do.
We'll see, I just because LaMelo has so many fans.
Oh, Jabari, that was a man's jam right there. Yes, sir.
Jabari was ridiculous. I mean,
look at this. Look at that. Jabari
was throwing it back to his high school days.
I think we got to give a lot of credit to Jabari because we were struggling offensively in the first quarter. I think we fell down, 8 or 10, and Jabari came in, got us, 11 first quarter points. So that was huge for us.
Essentially, you don't bring in Jabari Parker, and he doesn't score 11 points. Celtics falling behind big in just the first quarter.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
I think the Celtics have struggled with a little bit of right here. You can kind of see they're kind of letting them. They're giving up middle. The Hornets were able to kind of get inside the paint. I think for the most part we did a good job at contesting it, but you could still see they're getting beat off the dribble a little much.
I think
I got a question, guys.
What's up?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Does Miles Bridges make the All-Star team, or does he win Most Improved Player?
No.
Maybe most improved.
Yeah, maybe most improved.
It's 4 games. Miles Bridges. It's 4 games, but he's played great. Don't get me wrong. But All-Star, that's a big step up.
Look at LaMelo, man. He walked into that 3.
It just looks so easy for him, and his jump shot is so ugly too.
See, I like this right there. That play I like. Do you see how well Hernan Gomez helps the Celtics space out the floor?
Yeah.
Look at how well. Look at that. Might be the best spacing I've seen in all 4 games. Look at all 5 of the Celtics. I mean, Jaylen Brown dished it down low. Look at that spacing right there.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And then look at this. Brown, look at the cut. Look at the cut. Brown cuts. No, he doesn't stand still. Cuts. Rob's in position. Kick out. Hernan Gomez. Schroeder's also open for the kick out.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah,
It honestly
that's good.
feels like we're watching a different team compared to last year.
Even compared to like last night, like this Celtics team was like we thought last night was good. Like tonight, the Boston Celtics just looked amazing. I mean, amazing's not even the word.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if this team can be this team for the next, like, I mean, for the rest of the season, if this is the Celtics we're going to get, obviously it's not going to be every night, but if this is something close to what we get, it's going to be a rough season for anyone that's going to face them.
And the Hornets are just such a good shooting team.
I think the great part about, you got to think, right? We're 4 games in. So there's a lot of room for improvement. You know, just like, you got to stay consistent here. When we were playing bad, what we said, there's a lot of time, right? So there's still a lot of time for this team to either get better or, maybe, fall behind. So this was a step that was needed to take. I think for the confidence of this team in terms of chemistry and whether or not they can play together, you get a win like this and just like, you got to think, they're going to be so happy going to Boston. And look at that take by Brown. Just so good.
Yeah. And this little road trip was so crucial to Boston. Not only did you not want to fall behind 1-3 or even 0-4 at worst, you went on the road in Madison Square Garden, played probably arguably the game of the year. It'll end up being one of the games of the year. You lost that in double overtime. Then you go home and get smoked on your home opener by 32 against a lottery team. You're that Toronto, a lottery team. And
look at
you come out on the road and you go 2-0 and you win in overtime by double digits on a second night of a back-to-back. This is exactly what the Celtics needed.
Totally. And this is what made me thought LaMelo was an all-star. This is the play that separates, I think, LaMelo Ball from guys like Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman. This is what separates them, I think. This pass right here. This is a quarterback's pass. I mean, wow.
Hey, our stream got taken down. It says stream unavailable.
Oh, shit. I think we got...
No, we're up.
No.
I don't know. It says stream unavailable on.
Take the highlights off.
Yeah, you got to take the highlights off.
Oh, suspended for policy violations.
Oh my God, we're gonna get memed. Rob dipped and left the highlights with us.
My bad. Hold on. It still says I'm live though. The chat's still going and everything.
Yeah, but it says stream unavailable.
Oh my God.
Damn, the chat's F.
Oh no.
Hold on. I can figure this out.
You might just have to restart it, honestly.
Got it. Say something.
Oh, Rob just fucked us. Oh God!
Thanks,
right
Rob.
after I said the Raptors were going to be a lottery team, we just got totally fucked.
Thanks,
Rob. Can you not do that? Can you not play highlights?
Yeah,
no, I don't think you can. That's copyright infringement.
Why didn't anyone say something?
Because I thought you knew that. I didn't think you'd keep him up for the whole stream. I thought we were going over a play. I thought it was a play of the game.
No.
We are figuring it out.
No, we aren't.
No, we really aren't.
Do we restart it?
We have to.